Hey guys, Marijka here, Mountain Public Library, back with you today with some more books. Today I'm going to be touching on a few of the genres that I haven't quite gotten to yet. Fantasy, traditional, and graphic novels. I chose 2 books from each of those. So to start today, I'm going to start with some fantasy. So to start that off, we're going to start with James and the Giant Peach. This book is by Roald, Dahl, and it is about James. James lives a pretty normal, boring life, but he is a dreamer. And for dreamers to live really boring lives is really kind of depressing. So one day he gets this opportunity to experience something just really crazy and surreal. So he takes it up, and then every day breaks away from the mundane and becomes just this really exciting and unusual thing. So James goes through all of these different situations and scenarios. He makes friends with interesting insects, and he explores places that he's never seen, all in a giant peach. So essentially his dreams become reality. So that is James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. The next fantasy book that I have for you today, I'm super excited about. This is called The Hedgehog of Oz, and it is by Cory, Leonardo. I think it's been said before, my absolute love of The Wizard of Oz. It is one of my favorite books. So the fact that this is a version of The Wizard of Oz, but it has a hedgehog, a couple of squirrels, and a raccoon is like, yeah, I'm in, I'm all for it. It sounds perfect. When Marcel is taken from his current home at an old movie theater and dropped into the middle of the forest, he begins an adventure of a lifetime. To find his way home, he has to find his way home. It's really just pretty much Wizard of Oz, but with these just amazing characters, and it's just retold so wonderfully and brilliant, and it's just a really funny book that takes on an amazing story. So this is The Hedgehog of Oz, and it is by Cory, Leonardo. So the next group that we're going to go with is traditional. And for these, I chose 2 books that were based around folklore or had an intertwining of some sort of folklore or ancient character style history. So the first book is When You Trap a Tiger, and this is by Keller. This is a really interesting story that layers family and heritage and history and then Korean folklore and myth all together. It's just a really beautiful book. It is about Lily and her sister Sam and her mother who move to Washington to live with the grandma. So Lily is a really shy girl who has a really hard time fitting in. Her sister actually refers to her as a QAG, which is a quiet Asian girl. And Lily's sister Sam, on the other hand, always seems to find a way in and is very sure of herself and surrounds herself with lots of people. So Lily happens to be very spiritual and believes in the magic and the beauty of the Korean folklore, along with her grandma that they have just moved in with. So when they move And Lily starts to see this tiger that nobody else seems to be able to see, and she is sure that this tiger is there to destroy everything, and she must fight the tiger to save everything she loves. But she's unsure how she will be able to do that, since she is just a QAG. So she's wondering how someone like that will ever be able to trap this tiger. She meets this new boy in town and builds this friendship with him, and through this friendship it starts to build up her confidence. But even with her confidence being built up, the challenging is still really overwhelming. This is just an amazing book that interweaves the Korean folklore so well in a today-like setting. So this is When You Trap a Tiger by Keller. Next book is Stone Soup. This is a picture book, but it is a beautiful retelling of a folklore. So these soldiers go into this village, and the village didn't want to feel like they were feeding these soldiers and getting nothing for it, so they hide away their food. So the soldiers change the perspective and say that they'll feed the villagers with just these stones. So but they create this feast for everyone to join in with, and they add their stones, and everyone will come together and add more things, and they'll all come together and they'll eat and they'll dance. So even though technically the soldiers don't have anything because they only have these stones, they really create something more magical, which is just this beauty of communion and like festival type vibes. So this is a really great folklore tale, Stone Soup, and it is by Marcia Brown. We get into one of my favorite genres, which is graphic novels, because I absolutely love art and pictures. And the beautiful thing I think about graphic novels is that the words aren't the only thing telling the story. The pictures sometimes speak more than the actual words on the page. So to start off, we are going to go with Sanity and Talah. This book is by Molly Brooks. So I just want to start off with, there is a three-headed cat in this graphic novel. There really shouldn't be anything else that you need to know, because what could be better than a three-headed cat? I don't know, nothing. So this is a book about two best friends who live on this space station, and they're trying to prevent the whole thing from falling apart. The only thing is it is falling apart, maybe because of something they did. I don't know, maybe. So this is just a really good graphic novel that has two really strong female leads and a really nice diverse cast of characters. In the long run, in the end, it's part of a series, like a good number of graphic novels, but it almost feels like just a really good sci-fi comedy, like maybe like Star Trek or something, but for younger kids with these two amazing female characters. So this is Sanity and Talah, and it is by Molly Brooks. So my very last book, of course, I have to end with cats, because cats. So this last book is Catstronauts Mission Moon, and it is by Drew Brockington. This is part of a decent sized series. I think so far there's like 6 books, maybe 7 books. So all about these cat astronauts. So this one is the start of it, and you're introduced to this world that is run by cats, and they need to solve this energy crisis. So in come the Catstronauts, who are just some amazingly hilarious characters that are just wonderful. And the Catstronauts come in to save the day. And along the way, they run into some mischief and some other silly situations, all while this book is silly and funny. It really has some real interesting space and astronaut style bits in it. So it's not all just fluff and whatever. It's, you know, pretty interesting and gives you a cat perception of being an astronaut. So it's a super fun book, and it has cats, which is really the only thing that makes a book good. Just kidding. So this is Catstronauts Mission Moon by Drew Brockington. So those are my books, and our last little bit of some different genres here today. I hope you really enjoyed all of these books that I have recommended to you, and I'll see you again.